Great morning, fantastic morning. Wake up, y'all. This is a brand new day that the Lord has made for us to be glad and rejoice in it, or to rejoice and be glad in it. Either way, you know what I mean. He chose you this morning, and he chose me this morning. And I'm Edwina B, Miss Cuckoo for Cocoa Pops, as you know and see. But guess what? Don't be fooled by the mask. Do not be fooled by the mask. So before I go any further, I'm going to play my testimonial song this morning because rise, shine, give God the glory, glory, rise, shine, give God the glory, glory, rise, shine, give God the glory, glory. Children of the Lord. That's what my mama used to sing every morning, getting her 6 chilling up. But this is my testimonial song for today. Open your mouth and say something. Listen. All right. Say something. Woo! Open your mouth and say something. Oh my God. Woo! He woke us up this morning. He woke you up this morning. Why? Because there's a message and a blessing that he wants to share with you using me, Miss Cuckoo for Cocoa Pops, right? So welcome to February the 1st. Perspective with Edwina B. On the AA Daily Reflections. And today's topic is goal sanity. Incorporating the 5 agreements by the Uiz family and the transformational teachings by Dr. Sonja of P3 University. I don't own the rights to that song. I don't represent Alcoholics Anonymous. I don't represent the Uiz family. And I definitely don't represent Dr. Sonja. But I use all of those spiritual instruments and tools to serve him. I represent my God, who almost 33 years ago this month, met me underneath a parked car in the streets of Philadelphia, 3 o'clock in the morning, getting high with my stepson, doing all kinds of sexual things with him. When it was all said and done, he wanted to beat me up like any bitch in the street. I ran from him as if I was running for my life. Got a flashback from my past. If I just get underneath the bed, they can't find me. And when I saw those slew of cars, I said, if I just get underneath that car, he won't be able to get to me. 90 pounds, face all sunken in, skin all dark, matted hair, few teeth missing, yes. But my God met me underneath that parked car after he allowed my life to flash before me. Edwina, what is wrong with you? I'm saying to myself, at the age of 34, why are you underneath a parked car, boo-boo? You were the co-captain of your cheerleader team. You were the vice president of your class. You were one of the ones voted most likely to succeed. Edwina, what is wrong with you? I asked myself. Your family had aspirations. Your children looked up to you, right? You were designated the smartest in the family. How did you get underneath this parked car, Edwina? What is wrong with you? During my addiction of 14 years, the rapes, the beat-ups, the suicide attempts, I even committed murder. As a prostitute, I had an abortion because I did not want to acknowledge who the father was and didn't want the world to judge me. I took life. And for 10 years, I could not forgive myself and said I deserve any and everything that happens to me. But underneath that parked car was the end of the road for me. It was my only knee-bowing experience. And I shouted out these words, whoever they say you are, take me out this life or show me a better way. Haven't looked back since, okay? So I want y'all to be on the lookout because I'm relaunching my Free to Hope World Tour as a transformational speaker because the God that I serve has prepared me, molded me, shaped me to sit before you, right? So that I can just help save one more. When he met me underneath that parked car, he met me just the way I was. And so during the month of February is my anniversary month. On February the 23rd of 2023, we will be celebrating 33 years in the 12-step spiritual program of Alcoholics Anonymous for me, but that all the other adversities use the same 12 spiritual principles to create a psychic change for that spiritual transformation to exist. Donald Lawrence says, you are not a natural being having a spiritual experience. No, you are a spiritual being living and walking this natural experience on this earth, right? And so when God met me underneath that parked car, I did not look nothing like this. And so because I thought something was wrong with me, when he decided and chose me to stay here and put me on a pathway to recovery, the mask must go. Yes, the physical mask must go. Once I address the physical mask, then I can begin to address those other masks that prevented me from being acknowledged, right? Through my adversities and challenges that I needed to acknowledge that there is a God. But I was taught he was a bad, punishing God, right? But when I cried out, take me out or show me a better way, and he accepted me just the way I was, Transparency is my theme. Authenticity is my aim. So look forward to a Zoom presentation on my anniversary, February the 23rd. It'll be through an Eventbrite. And then I'm going to do a live kickoff on Saturday, February the 25th, just to let you know about my journey of how I became totally transparent and authentic. You don't believe me? The wig must go. The wig must go. The makeup must go. Yes, I don't need it. Don't want it. It is not who I am. I don't need to dress up the outside when I got a lot of garbage inside. And you want more? Ha ha! I told you I only had a couple teeth underneath that car. I still got the same too. But alcohol and drugs took my teeth. Recovery gave me a new set of dentures. I think it's my second or third one. I'm only going to put these back in to pronunciate and articulate my words. But because the God I serve accepts me just the way I am, I'm praying that you do too. But if you don't, I love me today. I love me today. And thank you to the 12 spiritual principles, the 5 agreements by the Uiz family, and the transformational teachings by Dr. Sonja. I'm on fire! Okay? All right, so let me put this back in. This is how I wear my hair, y'all. This is how I wear my hair. Yeah. Isn't it beautiful? Right? I'm done. Okay? So transparency and authenticity is the key to freedom. From recovery, emerge empowered to give hope to others, help others prosper equally. All right, let's get into the topic today. All right, February the 1st, right? AA Daily Reflections. Topic today is the goal. The goal is sanity. And we'll get into what that means. Incorporating the 5 agreements by the Uiz family and the transformational teachings of Dr. Sonja from P3 University. Put on your spiritual ears, open up your spiritual eyes, and I'm going to read it out loud to you, but I want you to follow along. But more importantly, I want you to marinate, decipher, evaluate, assess, internalize what the saying is for today. This day the Lord has made, and we shall be glad and rejoice in it. All right, so here it goes. All right. It says, let me move this out the way. February the 1st, Daily Reflections from Alcoholics Anonymous. Goal, sanity. Go to aa.org for all the information on Alcoholics Anonymous. Our co-founders write from the 12 Steps and 12 Traditions book from page 27. Step 2, gently and very gradually begin to infiltrate my life. I can't say upon what occasion or upon what day I came to believe in a power greater than myself, but I certainly have that belief now. And the person in recovery shares his perspective. Came to believe. I gave lip service to my belief when I felt like it or when I thought it would look good. I didn't really trust God. I didn't believe he cared for me. I kept trying to change things I couldn't change. Gradually, in disgust, I began to turn it all over, saying, you are so omnipotent, you take care of it. He did. I began to receive answers to my deepest problems, sometimes at the most unusual times, driving to work, eating lunch, or when I was sound asleep. I realized that I hadn't thought of those solutions. A power greater than myself had given them to me. I came to believe. Oh, Lord, 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 Lord. All right, you ready? Okay, you're ready. You're ready? The goal is sanity. And so many of you may say, well, sanity means you were insane. sanity, you were crazy, right? And back in the day, they would put people who had a severe alcoholic addiction in asylums, right? That they were crazy. They had a wet brain and whatnot, and they were insane. Boy, what have we learned over the years? And so, when it comes to the second spiritual principles of the 12 spiritual principles, it says, we came to believe in a power greater than ourselves to restore us to sanity. And what does sanity mean? Look it up. It only means being restored to soundness of mind. That's all it means. We did and we do some insane things, as we learn in our fellowship. But it says we came to believe in a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity, soundness of mind. All right. So you don't have a problem with coming to believe, right? You believe you were going to get paid on Friday, right? When you did your work during the week, right? You came to believe that that bus was coming, even though it was late. You came to believe, right? I came to believe that that drug dealer was going to come, an hour, even though it took him 4 hours to get there. But I came to believe. I came to believe that that bartender was going to give me straight whiskey and not watered down whiskey. So we do have memory or examples of coming to believe. We have a belief system that the Uwees family talks about in the 5 agreements. But that belief system, through the 4-step principle program of that inventory, tells us there's nothing wrong with you, but something happened to you and you need to know why. And so that's why, going back as far as we can remember, when that belief system, attitudes, ideas, and behaviors were first formulated by who, where, and what circumstances, and the Uwees brother calls it domestication of the human being. Listen, y'all got to get this book. I tell you, I read it. I go to bed with it, right? I wake up with it, and as a matter of fact, hopefully I have time to read you a prayer from it, okay? All right, so let's get back to the topic, right? So let's dissect what the saying is. He says here, right? Step 2, gently and very gradually begin to infiltrate my life. Step 2, right? Gently and very gradually begin to infiltrate my life. That is a powerful statement, right? Gradually, gently. Because people with this disease of alcoholism, right? We are cuckoo for Cocoa Pops. Force us, we rebel, right? Right? Offend us, we're going to, no. It says, step 2, gently and gradually infiltrated my life. 33 years later, almost 33 years later, it still is gently and gradually infiltrating my life, right? So he goes on to say, I can't say upon what occasion or upon what day I came to believe in a power greater than myself, but I certainly have that belief now. So let's go back, and I told you I dissect these things. So a power greater than ourselves, right? So let's kind of use some common sense, as the Uwees family says. Who was a power greater than you in your life? Your parents, your teacher, your employer. Those are powers greater than you, right? Could you control the rain? Could you control the snow? That's a power greater than you, right? You get my drift, huh? The drug dealer was a power greater than me. The bartender was a power greater than me. The John who did not pay me for these services was a power greater than me. So, It's not new to us, that power that's greater than us. And it says here, but I certainly have that belief now. And this is the point. It says, I can't tell you on what occasion or even on what day it happened. But I'm going to tell you, for me, right? When I was underneath that parked car, and I just believe when we surrender, we only surrender once. And so it says in our literature, no human power could relieve our alcoholism that God could if he were sought, whether you believe in him or not. Every knee shall bow and every tongue will confess that he is. And I'm telling you, when he chose me to live, because I gave him, listen, you make the choice, because I can't make the choice. I tried a couple of suicides and I kind of changed my mind too, right? Oh, no. You decide to take me out or show me a better way. I can tell you that day is when I was going all the way or I wasn't going. Just like when we learn in our history and inventory, I can't tell you when I crossed the line from social drinking to alcoholic drinking. Why? Because it was gradual. It was a process. Well, guess what? In recovery, we learn how to identify powers greater than ourselves. So for me, it was the counselor and staff in rehab, a power greater than me. When I go to Alcoholics Anonymous meetings, there are 20, 30, sometimes 300 people. Those are powers greater than me. And while I began to read the literature and embrace the 12 spiritual principles, I began to feel that gentle, right, and gradual, right, desire, right, to come to believe that something's going on here. And that these people and myself are being used, right? And so that's what we mean, that we don't know the day or the occasion, but guess what? Right now, I know I am a believer, right? So let's see what the writer says, okay? He says, came to believe, I gave lip service to my belief when I felt like it or when I thought it would look good. I gave lip service. How many of us, me in particular, those in addiction, we used to have those foxhole prayers. God, help me get out of this one, please. I swear I won't do it no more, right? All of a sudden, you have a belief in a higher power. Yeah. You actually call him, Lord God, get me out of this. It was for convenience. It was at the point of desperation. And so we are familiar with those foxhole prayers, but isn't it better when you have a genuine understanding, right, of what it really means to come to believe? And guess what? It's through your own journey. Nobody can give it to you. Nobody can do it for you. I talked to my boss yesterday, Mr. Ian Smith, and he says no matter how many programs we give people, the desire to change, the desire to do better has to come from that individual, because the powers that are greater are there. We have to want it in spite of the fact we know we need it. Okay, so let's go on. He says here, right? I didn't really trust God. If you go to an AA meeting, people get up and walk out when you mention the word God. People cuss you out when you mention the word God. People share how they hate God. They cuss God out. And guess what? It's okay. It really is. Because that's their process. That's what happened to them. There's nothing wrong with them. That was their experience. That was their perspective that was predicated on the belief system they was raised in, that perpetuated itself through their life even up until now. How many of us say that we love God, but we really don't trust God? Yeah, that was a process for me too. I hear you, God. And the God of our understanding that we are given to find in Alcoholics Anonymous is an amazing journey, right? Because eventually we will see how we need to trust this higher power, right? Who I now call God, because I was told that God was a punishing God, but oh no, he disciplines, but he's not a punishing God. A.J. Harding talked about the greatest love of all. It's the agape love, right? God just loves us because we are his. Ooh. All right, so I got a few more minutes, okay? So now, he also says, I didn't believe he cared for me. I didn't believe he cared for me. Listen, y'all, when I had that abortion, these are tears of joy over a painful situation. When I had that abortion as a prostitute, I'm telling you, I believe that God turned his back on me. That I believe that I wasn't worthy of his love. Yeah, that's it. I wasn't worthy of his love. Why? Because I took life. And for 10 years, it ate me up to the point where I said to myself, whatever happens to me, I deserve. The rapes, the beat ups, all that negative stuff, right? But it was a lie. As the Uiz family said, it was a lie, right? He does care for me. I'm going to tell you why and show you why, right? It says here, I kept trying to change things I couldn't change. And that's the thing about people with the disease of alcoholism. Whether you have a addiction to shopping, sex, lust, anger, work, right? You're trying to change something that you can't change. You want to, but you can't. You can't. You know how many of us would have stopped a lot sooner if we could have changed? Oh. All right, so let's go here. He also says, all right, so gradually in disgust, here go that gradual word, gradually in disgust, I kept trying, gradually in disgust, I began to turn it all over. Huh? Did you hear that? Gradually in disgust, I began to turn it all over. That was the experience I had underneath that parked car. So if my God, who I didn't know then, right, could remove that obsession and compulsion, then he can do any and everything that keeps me from being prepared, molded, shaped, and used by him just to save one more. But gradually, those cookies don't work no more. Gradually, in disgust, I began to turn it all over and saying, and this I could imagine being in a sarcastic way. Mm-hmm. Yeah, like you're so omnipotent. You take care of it. You sow this and you sow that. You take care of it. Guess what? And he did. He did. He did. God knows we need him, but he wants us as disgusting and sarcastic and rebellious and defiant as his children are. He nevertheless loves us. And when we call him in, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear, he will manifest what you asked, and he did. I ain't got but a minute or so, okay? All right, let's go here. It says here, I began to receive answers to my deepest problems, sometimes at the most unusual times, driving to work, eating lunch, or when I was sound asleep. I realized that I hadn't thought of those solutions. A power greater than myself had given them to me. I came to believe. That's why I can be transparent. That's why I can be authentic. That's why I can snatch off the wigs, take out the teeth, all of that, because I do believe It was a process to coming to believe after admitting I was powerless over alcohol, that my life had become unmanageable. What am I going to put in place, right? That's the only step one that we have to do 100%. Then the God of my understanding put me on a pathway of continued recovery and said, let's go to step two. Came to believe that a power or powers greater than you, Edwina, can restore you to sanity, only soundness of mind. Woo, Lord have mercy. I'm on fire. So let's go through the 5 agreements real quick, right? And so if I share with you, I ain't got but a minute, the 5 agreements: be impeccable with your word. Say what you mean and mean what you say. Basically, don't sin against yourself and don't sin against others. Learn how to not take anything personally, whether it's praise or criticism. Don't make any assumptions. You know what that means, right? If I do the first 3, I will always do my best. And the 5th one is be skeptical, but learn to listen. I am a humble servant today, a humble servant, because what? Your grace and your mercy brought me through. I'm living this moment because of you. I want to praise you and thank you too, for it was your grace and your mercy that brought me through. I can breathe. I can breathe. And so I did promise you I wanted to read one of the prayers, right? And I want it to go with the breathing that I just did. It says, this is from the Uiz family. Focus your attention on your lungs, as if only your lungs exist. Feel the pressure your lungs expand to fulfill the biggest need of the body, to breathe. Take a deep breath and feel the air as it fills your lungs. Feel how the air is nothing but love. Notice the connection between the air and the lungs, a connection of love. Expand your lungs with air until your body has the need to expel that air. And then exhale and feel the pleasure again. Because when we fulfill any need of the human body, it gives us pleasure. To breathe gives us much pleasure. Just to breathe is enough for us to always be happy, to enjoy life. Just to be able to be alive is enough. Feel the pleasure to be alive, the pleasure of the feeling of love. If it's God's will, we're back tomorrow. See you then. I love you, no matter how you look and no matter how I look, because he loved us first.